Hey, what's up, folks? It's Jesse with Keeping It Real Finance, the channel that always has your back and tells it like it is. Well, today's video is going to be all about the recent AI merger that was just announced between three of the largest AI projects in the crypto market, which includes Fetch, it includes Singularity NET, and it includes Ocean Protocol. So these are three very big players. They range right now in market cap. Two of them are in the top 100. The third one is just outside of the top 100. With their combined forces, their goal is the top 20. So this is looking to be the biggest AI project in the whole space. We're going to talk about in this video kind of what it means with these three combining forces. Now, believe it or not, I actually covered all three of them all the way back in 2021. I did a couple of updates on each. I haven't talked a lot about them since. I've been following them in the meantime daily, though, especially Fetch. That one really kind of caught my eye, and I really like the idea of AI agents and what Fetch brings to the table. I'm going to talk about that, as well as I'm going to kind of break down how this partnership really makes a ton of sense between the three of them. They all kind of add something very unique here. So we're going to get into that in this video, as well as for all of the holders out there all across the world that you may be holding one of them, two of them, all three of them. What does it look like on the back end when they combine and they turn into one brand new token, which is the Artificial Superintelligence token, or ASI? So what that means, where it may be headed, so many different topics to cover in this video. But I really wanted to just put it all together because, like I said, the merger announcement yesterday, this is the first crypto merger I've seen. I've seen plenty of crypto projects get acquired over time. They get acquired by somebody, bought out, whatever. Binance buys a ton of crypto projects, but I've never really seen them merge like this before. So this is something new, and that's worthy of this video. So as always, if this is your first time to the channel, make sure to subscribe. If you like today's video, go ahead and hit that like button. And with that, let's get it going. All right, so we're going to kick off today's video with this post right here from our friend Miles. Now, this was the first post that I've seen that talked about this possible merger, and it's citing, it looks like an article from Bloomberg, all right? So per the article, basically three artificial intelligence companies that operate on blockchain are in talks to merge their crypto tokens, a move aimed at helping them develop a decentralized AI platform. That's really kind of what we're getting at here, decentralized AI, right? So we have Singularity NET, we have Fetch.ai, and we have Ocean Protocol, discussing merging their tokens into an ASI token. This is Artificial Superintelligence, that's what ASI is standing for, that would have a fully diluted value of about 7.5 billion. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, basically this is a combination of three of the top AI companies in all of crypto combining their powers into one. So at the moment, they're ranked roughly around, I think, number 60, number 80, and about number 120 in the top 150 projects that there are in all of crypto. So when you combine all their values, it's a value right now of roughly about $7.5 billion, which is obviously nothing to sneeze at, okay? So that being said, what this kind of hinges on, the deal could be announced as soon as Wednesday, would hinge on approval from the members of each community, said the people who asked not to be identified because the information was private. Now, this was before the big announcement, all right? Now, while the three platforms would continue to operate as separate entities, they would collaborate under the guidance of a so-called superintelligence collective run by Ben Gortzel, the founder and chief executive officer of Singularity NET. Humayun Sheikh, he is the head of Fetch, and he was also an early investor in DeepMind, which is now Google DeepMind, after Google bought them in 2014, would be the chairman. Okay, so right now he is the head of Fetch. Now, representatives, ironically, declined to comment, okay, but basically the genie was out of the bottle here. And so the discussions come as big tech companies, this is a little bit of the why, including Alphabet Inc. and Microsoft Corp. are investing heavily in AI, which has the potential to change the way people interact with technology. Now, upstart AI-oriented platforms such as Singularity NET, Fetch, and Ocean Protocol, in turn, are racing to develop decentralized AI technology on blockchain. The idea being that it wouldn't be controlled by large companies beholden to shareholders. So that's kind of the difference here between the crypto space and the traditional centralized market, is in that centralized market, you have centralized parties that are putting together the AI right now, something like a chat GPT, let's say. And when you look at the crypto market, it is a decentralized structure. So this was the kind of shot heard around the world that everybody saw it and went, whoa, wait a minute. A crypto merger between 3 of the top AI projects. This is something that has not been done before. As I mentioned earlier in the intro, I have seen numerous projects get acquired over time. I have not seen a merger of anything quite like this. Okay, so moving on. Here is the official announcement that came out from Fetch's website. All right, so Superintelligence Alliance Token Merge ASI. So Fetch is joining forces with Singularity NET and Ocean Protocol to create the Superintelligence Alliance with token ticker ASI, Artificial Superintelligence. And let me just say also that I listened in on a Coin Market Cap call with Humayun Sheikh yesterday, where he talked about how excited he is for the combination of all 3 of their projects coming into one. So I'll kind of cover that in a little bit. Now, it'll form through basically a union of the top 3 decentralized AI companies with increased activity on our platform combined with a period of exponential growth for AI projects. The time is right to switch gears with our token too, and that's why they're combining 3 tokens here into one. So we have the FET token, we have Ocean, and we have AGIX that are all combining into one with ASI. All right. Now, kind of how this breaks down a little bit. I thought this chart that they shared here was really cool. So it kind of shows you the differences between the companies of when they were founded. Roughly, they're all right around 2017, 2018. Right now, Fetch is located in Dubai. We've got Singapore and Switzerland. All right. Now, Singapore, I think this one is AGIX right here is Singapore. Ironically, they don't have the tab above it. But anyway, Fetch used to be located in Cambridge of the UK back when I originally covered it. Now it is in Dubai. Ironically, Fetch kind of split off some of their business and they separated from that and they moved to Dubai. Now, at the time, some people in the Fetch community thought that was really kind of bearish. And as I recall, I think Fetch was also looking for new VC investment at the time. But I think what you got to realize from a business perspective is that businesses do this all the time, where there's different aspects of the business, different sides to it, different use cases. Sometimes it makes sense to split things off that you maybe don't really want to focus on anymore. Now, maybe when you see that, it kind of has maybe a negative connotation to it, because I think of here in the U.S. when a company is in trouble, they declare bankruptcy. And once they declare bankruptcy, once they're in front of the judge in the court system, then they start splitting off pieces of the business and selling this here or selling that there. I don't really think that's exactly what was occurring here with Fetch, but that they did sell off part of their business and they moved over to Dubai. Now, that being said, Fetch has been absolutely lighting up the charts over the last year. And so with this team number, kind of how many teammates are in this thing. We have 70, 50, and 189. So between all of them, but now we're over 300. Ecosystem teams funded, 27, 254, 88. 254 is quite a lot. That is the AGIX. I'm pretty sure that's them right there. Token holders, 120,000, 70,000, 107,000. Now, one thing I would say here with token holders, this is a very misleading number, and a lot of people don't understand this. So when you look at tokens, when they are held on an exchange by, like, let's say a Coinbase or a Binance, it is in a wallet, a Binance wallet, a Coinbase wallet, whatever that might be. And so if they're held on the exchange, what it means is that I could have 10,000 people that are holding their coins on the exchange, and they're in that one wallet. So looking at these numbers, that number could represent one, even though it's actually 10,000. So what I'm saying here is that your token holder numbers at the base level are what they're listed as here. They may be actually far more than this by an exponential number. All right. Now, in terms of watch list, we're all across the watch list here, and then Twitter followers, X, we've got quite a few here. So between all three of these, I mean, you'd be over 500,000 Twitter followers. So that's pretty amazing. Now, in terms of ASI token mechanism, how this would work. So Fetch, in particular, brings the ecosystem to the table. And let me kind of show you what this looks like. So here's an image that was posted yesterday, pretty much by all three projects, of what does this look like when they actually combine, right? Like who brings what? Why does this make sense? And that's kind of what I wanted to show you here, is that Fetch is the network. That's the key part here for Fetch. So compute, network, right? That's Fetch. It's infrastructure. What does Ocean bring? Well, Ocean brings data privacy in a trading layer, essentially. Then what does Singularity NET bring? Well, AGI communications engine, the marketplace. This is the big one, the marketplace. And then what else does Fetch add to this? Well, they add their AI agents. If you haven't seen the videos that I did in 2021, I would actually highly recommend going and checking them out, because I did a full review on the breakdown of all of these outside of my price predictions at the time that I had with those as well. And in that, I mean, it is very interesting. With Fetch in particular, I distinctly remember some of the very unique features of it. For example, if you're in a car and your car is plugged into the network, well, the Fetch AI agent, especially somewhere in Europe, could find you an open parking spot in whatever city you're in, if that parking was also plugged into the network, essentially. So the way I kind of envision this is, I can think back to my high school years driving around the parking lot at the beach, and it's a complete nightmare to find a parking spot, right? Well, if my car had been plugged into Fetch and I simply told the Fetch AI agent that I want to park the car, then it could basically find that open spot for me, and I could go right to it. It could lock it down, and there's no more of this wasted time, guessing game, frustration, yada, yada. Even the random person that stands in the parking space and tries to block it for everybody, that wouldn't work either. So that was one of the things with Fetch. That was really cool. Another one with Fetch, with cars in particular, was that you could be driving down the highway, for example. And right now, when you drive down the highway, especially here in the US, there's all kinds of billboards, right? And the billboards have various advertisements or whatever. Well, the billboards could be digital and could be in the network and could dial back into your car. And so what this means is that when your car drives by, the billboard could switch to a billboard for you, in particular, in something that you may actually be interested in. So, like a funny joke here in the US would be something like, my family in particular, we like to go to this gas station called Buc-ee's, right? So Buc-ee's is like the Walmart of gas stations. They have like 200 gas pumps. They have a ton of food. It's like a full service restaurant, whatever you want in there. They have all their own stuff. It's a lot of fun to go there. So if you think about it, if I was driving down the road and a Buc-ee's is coming up, well, it could switch that billboard straight to Buc-ee's and go, "Hey, Jesse, you like Buc-ee's? You've been here 8 times in the last 4 months. It's coming up on the right. You think you want to stop?" I probably would, right? So you can kind of see where those AI agents are going with that. So I thought I always thought that was a really neat idea with Fetch. And Fetch at the time when I had reviewed them, they had like 15 or 20 use cases. Obviously, things have shifted a little bit now with a bit of a splitting of their business. But the most important thing with Fetch is the infrastructure is all still here, along with the AI agents. All right. So kind of now just going back here to take a look at this post one more time. So, they've got the Fetch token listed here. I think that was 250 as of March 25th. That's what it was at that point in time. They have the different rates for AGIX, Fetch, and Ocean, kind of how those all break down. And then they have a lot here on the token holders. Now, before I get into this, I got a bit of an outline here, and I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. All right. So first of all, why merge in the first place, right? So why did Fetch and Singularity NET and Ocean decide to merge in the first place? Well, one of my views here is I think it's obviously the surging popularity of AI. That is a huge factor right now on why to merge, right? So AI is in the focus. It's all over YouTube. It's pretty much everywhere. Every workplace is talking about it. Everyone's thinking about it. So in terms of striking while the iron is hot, well, now's the time, right? Another thing is that these three are competitors, but not really. So as I showed you in this chart, which I'll go back to here, each of them kind of brings something different to the table. There isn't really an overlap here. So they're all AI. Yes, they're competitors in that sense, in a very, very general sense, but in their niches of AI, they are not competitors. They actually kind of fit right together like puzzle pieces, right? So that's, I think, a really big thing to realize here on why this merger makes so much sense. They're competitors, but not really. Now, something I heard on the phone call the other day from Humayun Sheikh is he said, in particular, that combining gives them 3 times the power. I think this is true also. So they have an exponential power now of 3. They're 3 times greater than they ever were before. And with the mines that they have included here, I mean, this is absolutely huge. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more as well in the final thoughts of today's video. Now, also, as I mentioned, this is a first of its kind merger. I've never seen anything like it, and I don't think anyone else has in the crypto space. So what are some of the goals here, right? So I think the number one goal, first of all, is to push the boundaries of AI. That seemed obvious by the call I listened to. I mean, that is their goal here. They are pushing the boundaries on all things AI, especially decentralized AI. Now, they also have a big time goal here of being the number one AI project in all of crypto. So they're combining, like I said earlier, they're like a Power Ranger or a Transformer, that each one of them kind of adds something to this thing. When they combined, they are therefore stronger. We have offices all over the world. We covered that. And in terms of the tokenomics here, I wanted to say that if I go back here, kind of what this sort of looks like is that Fetch, essentially, because it is the network, Fetch is the network. The coin has to operate in a network, whatever crypto it is, right? So in this case, you have Fetch that operates in the network. So what are they going to do with FET? Well, they're going to rebrand it into artificial superintelligence, so ASI. So FET will automatically become ASI. It is already the token of the network. It simply needs a rebranding. And so what I'm saying here is anybody who owns it and who holds it on an exchange, it will automatically switch over to ASI token at some point in the future. All right. You will not have to do a single thing with your Fetch tokens. They've even released a statement I saw today that basically says you do nothing. Okay. Now, if you have the other 2 tokens, so AGIX or Ocean, you will manually have to transfer them. Okay. Now they're going to be at a ratio. And so what we're getting at here is that right now, the one with the highest market cap is Fetch. Okay. So Fetch is also happens to be the ecosystem. So everything is going to be based off of that. So right now, a AGIX token or an Ocean token are basically a percentage of a Fetch token. So those will all kind of lock into place. Each of these projects have their own governance that they will vote on when they want to swap those coins over and what it will look like. But it'll basically be a manual swap. Whenever I've done things like this in the past, usually just have your wallet, you connect your wallet with your coins in it, and it automatically swaps them from the old coin. It gives you the new coin, and that's that. We all move on. Now, what's nice with Fetch in particular is that Fetch started, as I recall, going back in time, as a ERC20 token like most of them do, meaning that it started on Ethereum. It ran into the problem that all of the Ethereum projects eventually run into, which is the throughput can't keep up the transactions per second, and the cost of transactions is just far too high. And so what that naturally does is it naturally pushes projects that start in Ethereum and sort of incubate there to eventually leave the nest and create their own blockchain. And that's what Fetch did with their own ecosystem. So this is all entirely in their own system. And as long as it is supported by exchange, if you were holding Fetch, you would basically do nothing. Okay. So like in my case right now, I hold Fetch and I hold some Ocean tokens. The Ocean tokens in particular, I would need to convert. Okay. The Fetch ones, I don't have to do anything. They will convert on their own. Nobody loses any money in any of this. There's nothing like that. We don't add new coins to supply. We're simply just combining here. One thing they did mention here is the max new supply when they are officially combined is roughly about 2.6 billion. That is the max number of coins that will be out there. And in terms of the value, roughly $6.5 billion. Okay. Now, I did want to show, before I eventually go to the final thoughts here, I wanted to show a little bit on each website. So like right here is Fetch.ai. You know, what have our users built? It can enable energy grid optimization, peer-to-peer energy trading, demand response management. There's a lot of cryptos that are kind of getting into that, like Energy Web Token. Jasmy is doing something like this with the National Carbon Credit Consortium. There's a few others out there that are on the energy space. Healthcare. Fetch.ai's autonomous agents can be used to create intelligent healthcare systems that enable better patient care and resource allocation. Now, this is one that I am a huge proponent of. So whether you're in the US or another country around the world, you know, even if you were in a country where all your healthcare is paid for, imagine the possibilities of AI in healthcare and the solutions that it can come up with that we never could, right? And, you know, I think about like the elderly, you know, your grandparents or whoever, and they're on like 15 different pills at once. Well, are those pills really working together? Are they, some of them counteracting each other? Does the dose of one need to be upped and the dose of another need to be downed? Is there something in their health profile that says you're more susceptible to the following outcomes that may be negative, that may be positive, right? I think of like DNA technology with like 23andMe that can do that right now, right? It can tell you if you're more susceptible to certain things based on your DNA. In terms of AI and healthcare, the sky's the limit. There is so much opportunity because our current healthcare system, at least here in the US, is there is so much to be desired when you actually deal with it. There's so much waste and there's just so much inefficiency that could be completely streamlined with automation, and that is coming. All right. Finance. So autonomous agents can be used to create decentralized DeFi applications, basically, that enable secure, transparent, efficient financial transactions. So everybody's always looking for decentralized applications. dApps is the term for that. Transport. So as I mentioned earlier in my transport examples with Fetch, can enable intelligent transport systems that optimize traffic flow, reduce congestion, and improve safety. Optimizing traffic flow, that that is massive. For anybody who has a long commute, wherever you may be, what a nightmare, right? Like, how many hours of your life do you spend stuck in traffic doing absolutely nothing and you're miserable? What if we could just shift the roads around and make them all make sense, right? I think about in a lot of downtowns in the US, the traffic lights will be synced up and the roads will be one way. And what that creates is a flow of traffic. Everything tends to flow better. Now, when you get outside the downtown, nothing is synced up. So you hit red light, green light, red light, red light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red, 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 right. So, I mean, it just kind of, it can bog everything down. And where it really becomes a nightmare, I've also seen, if you live in a town with one-lane roads and traffic lights, God, what a nightmare, right? So if you could sync all that stuff up, if you knew at certain points of day the flow of traffic was heavier, maybe you could sync the lights to be green, right? You could, there's, again, so much efficiency. Right now, everything is not smart. It's very dumb in the sense that nothing is pre-programmed, nothing is set up for efficiency. In a smart world, a smart city, right? This kind of taps into some of my Jasmy talk about Society 5.0. All these things kind of fit together and flow, and society then benefits from it. So a lot of really cool things here with Fetch in their AI. I did kind of want to show this as well then. The press releases, look at this. So some of these are from 2023. They don't have a whole lot here yet for 2024. But what's interesting here is there's one that specifically mentions Singularity NET. And that was back in December of 23. So very interesting there. Now, moving forward, I wanted to show Singularity NET. So Singularity NET, the big thing here is their AI marketplace, right? So it says here, the core platform performs essential functionality such as facilitating trustless and automated transactions on our multi-party escrow, publishing new AI services and organizations on the blockchain, tracking successful API calls, defining price strategies. This gets pretty technical, but basically it is a marketplace for users, okay? That's kind of what this is. It's centered all around decentralized AI. Love it. Great idea, all right? On the Ocean front, so Ocean is more towards the business decentralized AI front. And specifically, here are some of those featured decentralized applications, right? Some of these are pretty cool. So Eccentric, an enterprise-grade data marketplace across industries. Brainstem Health, a wearable device that enables monitoring and sharing of health and well-being data. That's pretty interesting. That kind of reminds me of Elon Musk, and I think it's Neuralink, is his brain chip device that they recently, I think somebody was posting on social media who had a chip in their head, and they simply just thought what they wanted to post, and it did it. Just crazy, right? That's kind of where we're going. Here we go. A platform to participate in surveys, share Netflix, Twitter, or Spotify data, and earn rewards. So that's interesting. So they're incentivizing you to share your data and earn rewards. That's kind of like in the Jasmy realm a little bit. D-Sites AI, a Web3 platform to crowdsource solutions of the toughest AI and ML challenges. Felt Labs, let's see, tools for privacy-preserving data science and running machine learning on distributed data. Some of these are really cool. Matching supply and demand of any data and algorithms that can be relevant for mobility. So here's a mobility one on Future Mobility Data Marketplace. Pontus X, a lighthouse project aiming to accelerate the digitization of processes in the aerospace industry. That definitely needs to happen also, right? So again, very, very cool. They all kind of bring something new to the table. And that's really what I wanted to show you. So now, for the sake of today's video, I wanted to go back like I used to do it, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you some final thoughts. All right, now it's time for the final thoughts in today's video. So first of all, final thought number one. This is extremely important. If you follow me, you may follow where I've said with other cryptocurrency projects, every project has to have a catalyst person / blockchain expert, whoever that might be, right? You go down the list, there's always one person that you point to. Even if it's not in cryptocurrency, think of somebody like Elon Musk with Tesla, think of Steve Jobs with Apple. The list goes on, right? So when I think about the crypto space, I think of like Vitalik with Ethereum, I think of Hoskinson with Cardano, I think of Satoshi with Bitcoin. So who is the catalyst person here with artificial superintelligence, this new collective? Well, that's where this gets really, really amazing. So you have basically, the way I see it, four catalyst people in one project. So you got Humayun Sheikh from Fetch. Remember, he was a former investor in DeepMind. He has been with Fetch all along as the head of Fetch. You got Ben over there at Singularity NET. Again, arguably a genius in his own right. And then you go to Ocean with Bruce and with Trent McConaughey. And arguably you have 4 people now under one roof. So what this reminds me of is the early days of Ethereum when Hoskinson was there, when Dr. York was there, Polkadot, right? You had Vitalik there. You got multiple experts under one roof. Now, eventually, that didn't hold up. Kind of like the Beatles, they all split. You know, they left under their various frustrations, let's say. This is sort of the opposite, where they all started separately, and now they're coming together to form like a super group. Is kind of what this looks like. They're like the traveling Wilburys of crypto. That's a really old reference that nobody knew was ever going to get. Anyways, so some other thoughts here. Now I have a few notes that I scribbled down. Another note, the Bitcoin ETF implications on all of this for this project now as an AI superpower, okay? So if you follow me on Twitter, if not, I've talked about this a couple times, that I think the Bitcoin ETF is an event that raises all boats, okay? The reason why is that Bitcoin has Bitcoin pairs to just about anything in the crypto market. What that means, the implications of this, is that Bitcoin goes up, the whole market goes up. Bitcoin goes down, the whole market goes down, okay? Now, what the implication with the ETFs and BlackRock and all these huge companies getting into this with their influx of capital is that they have the power to raise all boats. Where I see this heading ultimately, especially here in the US, is that if they can tap into retirement accounts, the people that just invest every 2 weeks with their paycheck, you know, now they're investing in iShares or something like that, right? They're getting into the ETF over time. This potentially could break the cycle of the up and downs of Bitcoin, where all of a sudden we're raising the water for all boats, okay? So what I think it can mean for this cycle alone, I think we could go from the previous cycle's high of 3 trillion, I think we could triple that, if not more. I think we go over 10 trillion this cycle, okay? I see that happening. Now, if that were to happen, all that influx of capital comes in. Well, what if this powerhouse now is in the top 20? Think of how much capital they would have within this project to push the boundaries of AI, decentralized AI, right? A colossal amount of capital. So I find this to be very, very exciting, the implications of the Bitcoin ETF on this new powerhouse, this new transformer of a project regarding decentralized AI with 4 catalyst people under it. Now, I got a little more. Now, what are you investing in here, right? You're investing in the future, okay? You're investing in the future of decentralized artificial intelligence. That's what this is, okay? If you think that's a thing, invest in it. If you say, you know what, I see no future in artificial intelligence, move on. Good luck with that, right? I mean, hopefully in what I've covered in this video, you can kind of see the importance here of artificial intelligence and all the different angles it can go, especially the decentralized form, and how successful this project could be. Bear in mind right now that the combination of the 3, it's already worth $7.5 billion, all right? So the future investment potential here is massive, all right? Now, what do I do with things like this? Okay, so I look at this and I say, well, this is kind of a no-brainer, something that you need to get into, Jesse. You'd be just crazy sitting on the sidelines watching this. I typically do something like a DCA, a dollar cost average, right? And when I say DCA, you can start as low as like $10 a day if you want to buy something like this. You can set it up on Coinbase, you can set it for daily, weekly, monthly, whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to anybody, okay? You're free to do anything you want. Now, typically in the DCA world, sometimes I'll crank it up, sometimes I'll crank it down, right? When I get more excited, maybe I crank it up a little bit, right? So I go from $10 a day to $20 a day, or I go to 25 a day, or I go to 50 a day. I've even been known to go to 100 a day. So that can happen, right? And maybe you go higher than that. Maybe you go to 1,000 a day. I don't know. I don't know what your budget is. Everybody's got a different budget, okay? But the point is that this is one that if you were looking at a DCA on it, this could be a great thing down the road. So remember when I talked about the market itself peaking at 3 trillion last cycle, I think it could go about 10 this cycle. Where it goes the cycle after, even higher. Cycle after that, even higher. So what potential do you have here for this token, right? Everybody's probably wondering that. Like, right, Jesse? Like, where does this token go? Can this thing go up? Well, guess what? I got a secret for you. And here's the secret. Here's the little cherry on top of this video. So I know for a fact that Fetch, in particular, Fetch, the current ecosystem, FET token, soon to be rebranded ASI, uses a highly respected market maker in the space of cryptocurrency, okay? What this means is the market maker provides liquidity in the background, and if they're essentially doing their job well, you'll see the chart go up in value. Now, if you've been following the FET chart, it has been exploding in value lately. It has just been on fire. They have been doing excellent. And the way I know that this particular market maker is kind of highly respected in the space is I have known other projects that this market maker has been recommended. And they've been recommended by Binance to say, hey, you should get this market maker on your project and see what they can do for you, okay? This market maker is behind Fetch right now. So in terms of the charting, just strictly chart, you've got that ace in the hole here. Now, how far it goes up, you know, something that has a $7.5 billion valuation, how far it goes up from there, it's anybody's guess, right? I mean, it really is. When you think about the stock market, I mean, Apple, Nvidia, I think there's a few of them that are over $1 trillion market caps now. I mean, they're just insane, right? So in terms of room to grow, yes, this thing is high, but does it have just a ton of potential? Yeah, it does. Honestly, it really does. And, you know, ironically, in the past, I did buy Fetch. I did not buy AGIX. I don't buy everything I review, but I did buy a lot of them. I bought Ocean at that point in time. I think that you've got a lot of potential with this artificial superintelligence, ASI token. Got to remember that, ASI, right? You've got a lot of potential here with ASI over the long term. Now, the point I was getting at is that with Fetch, eventually I kind of stopped buying it. And Fetch eventually moved off of Ethereum. They got their own network, right? And they had a staking reward, as I recall, looking back in time. I think it was like 20% something. That's still really good, right? At the time, I knew about a project that had a bear staking reward, and I was like, I think I'm going to go that route instead, right? So I didn't go with the Fetch route. But the irony is, in the time since, the other project, it went down in value, and Fetch has gone up, up, up. Well, you know why? It's because of the market maker, okay? Now, Fetch arguably, as I said earlier in this video, had a few kind of bearish moments happen, right? They sold off some of the business. They left Cambridge, they went to Dubai. Now, is that bearish? Yes or no? Well, I don't know. Maybe going to Dubai is actually a good thing when you think about it, right? Maybe that could be more of a tech hub in the crypto space as opposed to Cambridge. Now, Cambridge, obviously, intellectual center. I'm sure there's still ties there. But my point is here that DWF Labs, the market maker, has done a heck of a job with Fetch already, okay? So that's also going on in the background. So the bottom line here is this is a huge announcement, huge news. I wanted to cover it with a video, kind of in the old style that I used to do, and give you something new to think about here. And hopefully, if you've enjoyed this video, Make sure to hit the like button. If you've never subscribed to the channel before, hit the subscribe button. I like to put out content once I really kind of get the creative juices going. And every once in a while, there's something that really just kind of piques my interest. And this one did exactly that. So that's why I put this video out here for you today. So, as always, this is Jesse with Keeping It Real Finance, the channel that always says you're back, tells it like it is. And I will see you on the next one. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I got a website. I got a few different things going on. Look for me out there in cyberspace. Feel free to say hello if you got any questions. Till then, see you on the next one.